How did you come up with the right words to deliver at the keynote address? That must not have been easy.
No, it isn't easy. That is anything like that. It's always a challenge. You really meditate, you pray, you think about different things that the people can identify with. When I was in the process of delivering the speech, I was trying to think of things that Dr. King said, things that are relevant today, things that are important, and most important, where do we go from here? So and you're trying to put it all together with well, it's not too long. You
Yeah.
know, you want to be straight. I have it. I have a saying: short, sweet, and spiritual.
How are you inspired by Dr. King? Because, I mean, his speeches are unbelievable, the way he could reach people and reach them in a positive way. I mean, I'm sure you were inspired by Dr. King.
Oh, most certainly. To this day, I still try to figure out how he crafted things. But one thing I have realized, even with Dr. King, is that sometimes you when you're writing these speeches or sermons, you know, the written part goes to a certain point, and then the spirit has to take over, and that's what I mean. It happened to me yesterday when I was speaking, and also I noticed with Dr. King when he was doing I Have a Dream speech. You know, where you leave the script and then really talk from the heart.
You know, sometimes the easy part is looking back at the speeches and looking back at all of the things that we all want to see happen, but then to actually put them into practice with people's different points of view, that seems to be the harder part. How do you do that? How do you bridge the gap and make progress today?
Well, it's like anything. You have to have follow up. You get people energized. You make a message. You try to impress upon the different points that you want to really stick in a person's mind. But there, you know, you follow up with activities. Hopefully it's something that's visible. You get participation from people. It's not just a one person effort. It's really a community effort.
When I see a police officer, example, roughing up someone, I just get so upset. On the other hand, if I see a police officer falsely accused of doing something wrong, I don't like that either.
That's correct.
So, how do you bridge that? I mean, people always seem to go to one side or the other immediately without looking deeper.
I mean, you bring up a good point. It's both sides. You have to look at I mean, justice is justice, no matter if it's for or against a person or a policeman or whatnot. It's unfortunate that you do have some bad cops, but that doesn't mean that every cop is bad. So you have to weigh the scales of justice and look at it in detail before you jump to conclusions. Some people, it's just one thing I have realized is that, because of what has transpired over the years of injustice, when you have something like this that happens, people really, it's that first knee-jerk reaction because of what they've been holding the feelings inside, and it's just explosive at times, and that's what we deal with.
Well, one of my favorite quotes of Dr. King, I want to make sure I get this right because this is my favorite quote. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. I mean, that's about as good as it gets in terms of what you really want to try to accomplish to move forward.
That is correct. Love conquers all. As I was saying yesterday, you have to have love. Without love, you can do nothing. And that's really the bottom. If people had love, you wouldn't have the hatred, you would not have the bigotry and things like that. So it gets down to love, because even Jesus taught us about love. That we have to love our enemies. What? Love our enemies? But that shows you the power of love and how far we have to go with love. That if your enemy even needs a drink of water, that you would give them a drink of water. That's powerful.
Right.
It's what it's really about the young people, and carrying it down, because I don't consider myself old, but I'm not as young either. But it's passing that forward. I mean, the experiences, and showing them the way, because like somebody had to guide us, who's guiding them, and sometimes we have missed generations. And so you have generations of people that don't have those same values, that haven't been taught or led. And it's about preparing that generation, and most importantly, raising up leaders. We need leaders such as a Martin Luther King. You never know where that leader is going to come from, but you can inspire some young people to be leaders, or to be a community person or a community leader. Those are the kinds of things we need in this day and time, and that's one of the focuses I'm really focused on is those young people.
In my practice, I do a lot of juvenile work, and I see kids, and this is just in New Bedford. I imagine it's even worse in some of the bigger cities. I see the challenges that are in front of these kids. And then politically, some people think there are free market answers, there are more government answers, there are all kinds of different answers. And sometimes that hill to climb of hopelessness, of getting over the hump, of education, economics, it just seems like such an insurmountable hill. How do you stay positive about all this?
Well, I realize it's a team effort. I can go from this work on the spiritual side and also do other things too. You mentioned a couple of important things such as education, which is very important. I have a computer background. I'm a computer consultant in addition to being a pastor. So I mean, I've taught children from the middle schools here in New Bedford. In the high school, New Bedford High School, how to repair computers. Yeah, if I'm not an attorney,
and I'm not a computer expert,
right.
I can tell you that.
But together,
right.
We can work together. It's funny you mentioned about attorneys. That was my first job out of college. Was field service in law offices in California, in Los Angeles. Yeah,
I'm glad to see that didn't do you any harm.
No. But again, we work together as a
right.
team. It is definitely a team effort that makes a difference.
Right. So any final thoughts going forward? What would you like to accomplish in the year ahead?
Again, we just can't lose the knowledge of where we came from. It's now not just a fight for just African Americans, but it expands beyond African Americans now, more so than ever. And I think I quoted in Dr. King's, my last sentence was about, he said that we may have come on different ships, but we all in the same boat now. That's powerful.
That's a fantastic quote. Hey, keep up the good work, and thanks for speaking us here today.
It's my honor and my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.